folks, to another live event at the Institute. And yes, I'm answering the first question already. I am back. I was on vacation last week. Jason covered for me. I mean, not Greg covered for me. Sometimes Greg was in there too. You guys have fun this week. And then now I'm going to break for my vacation, so I'm back to work, which is perfect. Welcome everyone. As you can see, we have recovered everyone drone. So inspired. We have Charles Smith, Texas Drone Company. Let's see. Jared was on this too. Chris. Corey Jefferson. Kate is here. John and Ray. We have Ibrahim. Practicing photography. Todd. A lot of people. So welcome. Audio.
Nope. I literally had it working right before we started.
All right, we're good now.
Stand by.
Okay, go.
Good to go? Good? Okay. See, that's what happens. I go on vacation, shit breaks. Okay. Good. Perfect. Better. Okay. We're good? Okay, well, I'm going to say hi to everyone again because that's what I was doing. Recovery Everyone Drone, Thorough Inspired. We have Charles Smith, Texas Drone Company, Curtis Warren. We have Scott. We have Dylan. We have Corey Jefferson, Mark K, The Italian Ways. I see a lot of familiar names in here. Well, welcome everyone. DC is here. Is that like ACDC, but with just DC? Independent Drone Channel. Mr. King of Florida. Oh, Mr. King of Florida was deleted in the message. Whoa, I guess Mr. King in Florida is not doing so good in the chat. Okay, anyways. They still say it's not good.
Everything on my end is good.
They're saying your mic is still bad. Okay, can you please guys tell me if the sound is good or not?
Going through the road. We're good.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good on my end.
Yeah, it sounds good on our side. So just refresh if anything happens. Okay. Yeah, refresh your page if you can't hear me good. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, good. All right, loud and clear. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, it takes a few seconds. Okay, well, let's get started answering questions in here and see what happens. So practicing photography says, what is the best way to cross a road? If I need to get a photo from the other side, I think the answer isn't to bring the drone down and get across and take off again. No, I would personally just wait for traffic to be done and then just go across. And that's the easiest way. That's how I did it for ever, and it should be able to help you that way. But yeah, that's the best way. You can also land and go across, but it shouldn't be a problem. And I know there's a lot of people that say you can cross as long as it's incidental to the flight and just go from point A to point B, but that's only if you have a categorized drone. Why can't we have a under 50-foot quad rule that allows FPV operator to fly with more leniency and not having to get approval? Look at charts. Most FPV are low flyers anyway. That's a good question. It's called shielded operations, and we are trying to convince the FAA that it's something that they should allow people to do, but it hasn't been easy. So I don't know why we can't, quite frankly, but just like every rule, typically people break the rule. So you say 50 feet and then people start flying at 100 feet, 150 because they say, well, it's okay at 50. I don't know. It's a tough discussion, and those are the things that we're hearing back from the FAA. Corey Jefferson is saying, I fly FPV drone at my local lake, recording some of my friends do wind sport. I do not have a license, and I upload my video to social media. Is that an issue? sounds to me like it's just flying for recreational purposes. So the intent of the flight sounds recreational, so you should be good to go here. DCDC says, what is the largest size drone you can have without registering with the FAA? 250 grams is the limit if you are flying for recreational purposes. And here's an example of a 250 gram drone. That's the Mini from DJI. And if you have one of those, then you don't need to register with the FAA if you fly for recreational purposes only. Thorough Inspired says, in your FAA course, you mentioned the Before You Fly app. You do not recommend this app, ? Which one would be better? I think the video that I recorded on Before You Fly was a long time ago. The app is great. Before You Fly works. I will have more information on Before You Fly by the end of the week. So stay posted. There will be, well, that's all I can say right now. There will be a new app soon that's going to be available. That's going to be great for you to use. And can't say much more right now, but I will say more. Okay, Thorough Inspired says, no, it just said that. That's 2. Let me see. By the way, Aloft is also a great app, which Aloft also makes Before You Fly. Before You Fly early on had a few issues with the way the data was displayed. I think that's what I talked about in a video a long time ago. They've fixed that issue since then. It's been years. So Before You Fly is a great app. It works. It works great. Next, John Jackson says, is that Jonathan Jackson? Uncategorized drone, can it cross an empty road if not passing over any vehicles? Yes, you can fly over empty roads. The rule is not flying over roads. It's flying over moving vehicles and people in moving vehicles. It's about people in moving vehicles. Vic says that's not fair, tease. I'll text you, Vic. How do you visualize the future of DJI in the US? I'm pretty positive about what DJI has coming in the future. I think a lot of companies are trying to take DJI down because that's their only way to compete, unfortunately, with a giant. I don't think DJI is going anywhere. They're not too big to fail, but I think it's going to be very difficult to get DJI banned for those that try for consumers. They may try to do it for government purposes, but I think it's going to be very difficult to get them banned for consumer purposes. But we'll see. My Mavic 3 does not want to do a calibration, always says fail, and it's asking for one. Any suggestion? It's possible that you're too close to metal, so try to do it away from any kind of metal. Do it outside in the middle of the field if you can. And if that still doesn't work, you might have to send it back to DJI, or at least reach out to DJI and see what they say. But typically the issues that I've seen are because of being too close to metal. Do you need any extra credentials to teach FAA Part 107 classes? No, you don't, Joey Q. Sadly, you don't. I believe personally that you should at least have a ground instructor certificate in order to do this, so that you know what you're talking about. Passing the FAA exam and getting a grade doesn't mean that you should be teaching it, but I'm also biased because that's what we do here. But I've seen the effects of people that don't know how to teach aviation trying to teach aviation, and I think I would discourage anyone who doesn't have the knowledge on how to actually teach, in addition to having the knowledge of the rules. So that's my soapbox comment. James O'Neill Consulting says, for the Biden visit to Denver Pueblo a couple weeks back, I expected to see something about the TFR and the Before You Fly app during his visit. I did not see anything while using Before You Fly when he was here. That's interesting because the TFR should definitely be in Before You Fly. Did you actually double check that with Aloft Air Control as well? Because that data should be in there. It could also be a filter. I need to go back and look at the Before You Fly app. But was it a filter that was on that did not show you the TFRs on the map? I don't know if that's an option or not, but hopefully that wasn't. So, okay, next. I'm going to be filming an implosion and got airspace approval for a 0-foot grid. It sounded like they might issue, wait, where did it go? NOTAM or TFR. If they do that, can I still fly there because I'm part of the operation? If somebody issues a TFR, so a NOTAM and a TFR, slightly different. So the NOTAM typically issues the TFR, but the TFR is, there can be a NOTAM without a TFR, but there cannot be a TFR without a NOTAM. But the TFR, if somebody puts it in place, you would need approval from the issuing party in order to fly in there. So because you're part of the operation, doesn't mean necessarily that you have access inside a TFR. I doubt that for an implosion, they will have a TFR in place, but it's worth checking, but I doubt it. What are the rules on flying a manned drone? Okay. So I'm trying to make sure I understand the question. There's no such thing as a manned drone. A drone is a UAS. A UAS is an unmanned aircraft, which means that, well, it's not manned by definition. So a manned drone would be an aircraft. And so if you're, I'm guessing you're probably talking about somebody sitting on top of their drone or multi-rotor aircraft and then controlling the aircraft from the aircraft. Then it becomes a likely an ultralight in this case, which is controlled by Part 103, the FAA, 14 CFR Part 103. So they would have to follow that regulation. So I hope that was your question, if that makes sense. But it wouldn't be a drone necessarily anymore. It would be technically a manned or crewed aircraft in this case. Taiji Armstrong is saying, what is the best industry to try and tap into as far as mapping is concerned? I'm going to say the one that you're familiar with. There's and quite frankly, first off, I would not pigeonhole myself into a specific industry for mapping. I would go after anybody who is in need of mapping. As far as industries, I don't know that there is a specific one that's more lucrative than others, but maybe Jared can leave a comment in the comment section. But I wouldn't just try to pigeonhole myself with anything. Have you seen the video of the Canadian guy diving the national monument? Isn't that restricted airspace? Yes, our friend Ken Dono from Original Dobo just posted a video about this. A lot of students sent it to me this weekend. All I can say is the dude is an absolute idiot. Don't be that guy. He's the reason why people are looking at drones and giving us a bad reputation. He claimed that he found the card, just like he probably found the card of flying over the sphere in Las Vegas. The dude's page is full of just idiotic flights. He's Canadian, probably thinks he can do whatever he wants because he's not in the United States. Personally, I hope he gets caught and that the FAA just deals with him the way that they should deal with him. Flying in restricted airspace is one thing, but flying in DC is something else because you're opening up not only to the FAA, but to a lot of other agencies that control this area. It's a national monument, which means that a lot of other people in the government are going to be interested in this. They have their name. They know exactly who he is. And so I wouldn't be surprised if the next time he comes to the U.S., he gets held up at the border and gets questioned for a long time.
I wasn't a cowboy back then.
And yeah, I hope they deal with him. But yeah, just please don't do that. There's no point, especially, it's going to sound horrible, but that flight was horrible. It's just not good footage. It's just not a good pilot and video. So just don't do that. All right. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm annoyed. Drink every time Greg says don't be that guy. Yes, please do. Somebody says never answer my question. Greg, I was about 400 feet in the FIMI unlocks that pass 400. I don't know what that means. Hold on, let me look back. The Italian jobs. I don't know what the Italian ways. I'm not sure what you're saying. I haven't seen all the other comments. So Anyway. Sorry, I'm just trying to read the comments to answer that question. If you're above 400 feet, that's it. You cannot fly any higher unless you're within 400 feet of another object. Is there an Apple app for SkyVector? No, there is not. I've always thought that it would be a great idea to have SkyVector on an Apple app. The closest thing is ForeFlight, which I think you can download and use the map section for free. After that, we use it in the office to plan for our manned aircraft flights. And so, yeah, you would, you might want to look into that ForeFlight. If they try to charge you something, just don't do it. But you might be able to just look at the map and see where you are, look at the chart. But no, SkyVector doesn't have an Apple app, which kind of sucks because it's a great app. But you have to go on the browser to do it, and it's not the most responsive when you're on mobile, so that sucks. Do you know of any restriction of flying over people over power plants or train yards other than the obvious restriction for flying over moving vehicles? Well, power plants hopefully are not moving, but no, train yards should not be an issue. And then power plants should not be an issue either unless they're classified as a, I can't find my words today. Anyways, I think Vic is going to help me in the comments. Critical infrastructure, thank you. I'm having a brain fart. Unless they classify as a critical infrastructure, which would be on the UAS facility map by the FAA. And so with that said, I don't recommend flying too close to power plants, especially nuclear power plants, because we don't want to freak out the people. Yeah, definitely wouldn't get too close to that. Anyone has heard of Apple making a drone? There were rumors a long time ago that they were going to do that, but I don't think it's their market. It would be pretty cool to see what they come up with. I mean, they were going to make a car. I don't know where that went. There were some plans, and that was like a year ago, last time I heard. And I haven't really heard or seen anything since. It'd be cool to see, but I don't know that it's really their cup of tea. I don't think that's their area of expertise. So Microsoft, you'd be in flight, and then you look at your screen, get a blue screen of death, and then here comes the drone coming down. Apple would have it so there's only 5 functions that you can change, and then that's it. It'd be point of interest, and it'd be all automated, and that's it. So, yeah, it would only work on an Apple phone.
They would have to rebrand AirDrone.
The AirDrone. All right, Tesla needs to make a drone. I agree. Actually, it's a good idea. There was we talked about this weekend. We talked about a dock in the back of the Tesla truck. Jason talked about that in news updates, and that would be interesting. All right. Any other questions? Put them in the comments.
We're going to pull up the Cybertruck dock right now.
Cybertruck dock. Do you think the FAA will eventually, hold on, there's a heart in the way of it, make a law against drone fishing? No, I don't think the FAA is interested in that. Remember, the FAA's job is to make sure the airspace is safe to fly in. So drone fishing is not really their purview. What I can see is local municipalities doing rules against drone fishing, which I think in some states you're not allowed to use drones for certain things like this, including hunting as well. So somebody says, wait, drone fishing is a thing? What is a great cheap drone to give as a gift to hobbyists under $50? Ooh, I don't know that there's anything under $50 that I would recommend. What's the Cletus? Cetus. Yeah, Yeah, this guy right here, the Cetus FPV. I don't think that was. It was more than $50 though. This little thing here is fun to give it to someone. It's only for flying indoors. We've flown these quite a bit, so this little thing right here. It's got a tiny little battery, Beta FPV, but I think it's more than $50. So, but it's probably not much more on Amazon. But it's cool. It comes with a controller. It comes with the goggles as well, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and it's. Can you look up the price real quick? Penny came and shocked me. What's up? It's not food. No, it's not food. Yeah, that's the controller that comes with it right here. Cetus. $300 with controller and goggles, says Vic. But that's got everything included, so probably a pretty good deal for what it does. $50 is tough for finding something that's reasonable. What is it at, Ben? 160?
That's back ordered.
On Get FPV? Nice. Well, 160. Maybe on Amazon can find it. It says it's back order on Get FPV, but okay. So I purchased the 107, and it's basically a lifetime subscription at Pilot Institute. If that's a question, the answer is yes. You do get lifetime subscription with all of our courses, pretty much. So you get access. You can do it at your own pace, and that's it. Vic says I don't have the beginner one. Whatever, Vic. He's too cool. Too cool for the beginner one. I don't know if this is the beginner one, but I didn't realize there were two different ones. But everybody got one in the office. Ethan lost his behind the Cyclo, which we might find eventually when we move.
Yep.
Ben, where's yours? Oh, that was pre-Ben. Oh, we got a new dog. We got a new, speaking of Ben, we got a new dog. His name is Ben Ben. That's the way they called it in the box. So we have Ben, we have Ben Ben. So it's cool. It's the new, man, why can't I find any names tonight? It's a robot dog. It's from Unitree. It's the go-to. We just got it. It does jumping. It jumps forward. It's actually really cool. It has really cool walking. If you go to the trade shows, you'll see it there. We'll have it on display. It's a really, really neat thing. Italian Ways says, so line of sight, I can still see the drone 2,000 feet away with my eyes. 2,000 feet away? I'm going to question that. 2,000 feet is pretty far to be able to see a drone. Remember, visual line of sight, as per part 107, 107.31, is a lot more than just seeing the drone, tiny little dot on the horizon. You have to be able to tell attitude, altitude, direction of flight, and be able to have full control of the airspace, knowing where things are in relationship to that drone. I would say if you're 2,000 feet away, you probably don't meet the requirement for visual line of sight. That's just, we've tried to, I think, about 1,500 feet, and that was kind of pushing it in this case. All right, line of sight. Is there a limit to how many drones one person can control at once? Yes, if you're flying under Part 107, it's one drone per person, unless you get a waiver. Peter says, is Part 107 available to take online? No, it's not. It has to be done in person at a testing center near you. There's about 700 of them total. So it takes, you'll have to go there to do that. You cannot do it online. Leroy is not happy. He says, I won't be back. Thanks for not answering my one question. Well, I think we may have missed it, Leroy. I'm sorry. You can put it down again. We'll try to answer it, but we don't filter on purpose. We try to answer as many questions as we can. All right. What else? Any other question? After flying the DJI FPV and the Avata, my other drones seem boring to me now. Really? That's interesting. Well, unless you have your own FPV, a lot of people that fly FPV don't like the DJI FPV, but a lot of people that fly other GPS drones from DJI tend to like the FPV and the Avata for the way that it flies. Somebody says, I understand I have 14 days before I can retest. I failed the exam, but I have to repay the full exam amount. I plan on passing the first time. Oh, yeah, you haven't failed yet. Okay. If you fail, yes, you have to repay the $175 fee and you are in the penalty box for 14 days. Yes, to study again. But if you take our course, you're not going to fail because we'll take care of you. Somebody says, I added small strobes to increase the distance a bit. The air is pretty small and my eyes are old. If you're putting strobes to increase distance for line of sight, you actually technically cannot do that. The FAA doesn't want you doing that. Okay, let me see. Leroy says, what are you hooking up to your drone when you're using drone deploy for mapping? What do you mean hooking up? What are you hooking up? There should be nothing to hook up. I'm not sure I understand the question. DCDC says, is there a rule for flying a drone around commercial ships or boats? No, as long as you don't fly over people in moving vehicles, that's all the rules that there are. Deacon FPV says, any thoughts if a new DJI FPV comes out and what type of improvement we can expect? Good question. I think it's been rumored for a while that there would be a new DJI FPV, but we have yet to see one. It's December 11th, so I doubt there's going to be one right before Christmas. But what can we expect? I think less weight. The first one was a bit of a porker. A lot of people said that it's a bit heavy to fly around. Something more between like the Avata and the DJI FPV. People complain about breaking easily and not being as easily repairable as a regular FPV, a non-DJI FPV. So that's probably something where they can improve. I'm sure a lot of people would say sub 250, so it can be flown over people. As a category 1 with prop guards. That's kind of the dream drone, right? If you wanted to fly over people. I'm not sure what else would be in there. What do you guys think? What would you like to see in the DJI FPV to make it better? Tell me. Built-in filters? Built-in filters would be cool. That's not really a camera drone, but on camera drones, I think it would be cool to have built-in filters in the future. Yeah. 24 frames? Yeah, that's true. The DJI FPV didn't do 24 frames. I like 24 frames sometimes on the FPV, but sometimes it can get a little too blurry. Okay, Mark K. I'll ask again, and I'm not mad. Is it possible to receive permission to fly above 400 feet AGL for any reason? Yes, you can actually submit a waiver to the FAA. So if you're... Let me put some caveats on here. Only if you're flying under Part 107, so only if you're Part 107 certified. And if you're flying within 400 feet of an obstacle that's taller than 400 feet, then you can fly, well, if you're flying within 400 feet of an obstacle, then you can fly within up to 400 feet above as long as you stay within 400 feet of the drone, of the obstacle. Gee, I can't talk tonight. With that being said, if there are no obstacles around, you can ask for a waiver from the FAA, and then they'll give you a waiver to fly over 400 feet. There's not a whole lot of them that have been approved, but it is a possibility in the regulation. We actually talk about this in our waiver course that we just released right before Black Friday. Why can't I fly a 254-pound ultralight without a license? No, why can I fly a 254-pound ultralight without a license or having it registered, but can fly a 1-pound drone without jumping through hoops? You will have to register an ultralight. I want to clarify that. And 2, you can fly in uncontrolled airspace, an ultralight, but getting into controlled airspace is very different. So you're also sitting inside of the ultralight, which means you have a lot more skin in the game than you do with a 1-pound drone. With that being said, yeah, I can somewhat see this, but I know some people have made videos about the ultralight stuff. please read part 103. A lot of mistakes were done in the videos that I've watched about people talking and comparing ultralight to drones. It's a completely different animal. When we start to see 1 million drones in the air, 1 million ultralights of 250 pounds flying around, I bet you the FAA is going to have something to say about who can fly those and how they fly. But at the moment, ultralight community is very, very small, and there hasn't really been any issues. Now you're going to say, well, there hasn't been any issues with drones. There have been some issues with drones, including idiots like the guy from Canada that flew over the thing in DC. So, anyways. I'm not defending it, but I'm just saying there's a big difference between somebody in an ultralight flying and somebody on the ground flying a drone. There's a difference. What is the rule or guidance around flying near or over marine life, such as whales and dolphins? Don't interfere with wildlife, okay? Don't interfere with wildlife. Other than that, it's okay. But just keep in mind that, you could be in an area that is a sanctuary or a protected area, in which case you could get in trouble for messing with wildlife, just like you would if you were on a boat going to mess with them. But if you're respectful, I think it's okay. What are some good tips for videos? I've never been very good with getting amazing videos. Or nighttime videos. Ooh, nighttime is tough. Nighttime is tougher because you have a lot less light, which means that you need to usually bump up your ISO. Take off your ND filters for sure at night, so you have as much light going into the filter as possible. And some drones have night modes. The more recent DJI drones have night mode, so I would recommend using that. It helps bump up the ISO a little bit. Try not to get everything super bright where you're flying at night. So you want to fly in an area that has lights, and that's going to be kind of the topic probably of the video, is a lit object at night. So try to expose the image for those lights rather than for the entire image. You won't be able to do that. You won't be able to get the entire image in there. And then be careful with flying around, because there might be obstacles that you're not familiar with that you may not be able to see because, well, it's dark outside, it's night. Ben, did you have another one?
Well, he was saying that he was asking if he needs to get a Mavic 3 Pro. I was just going to say, we got some pretty decent night shots with
The Mini 4 and the Air 3 were really good for that.
So maybe not Mavic 3 Pro.
Not necessarily doing the Mini 3 Pro. We also have a free course that gives you 15 different maneuvers, I think it is, to do cinematic shots. Go on our website and search for cinematic, and then you'll see there's it's free. It's just giving you ideas of different maneuvers that you can actually do in order to help you just be more cinematic and add a little bit of creativity into your shots. There's not a whole lot of shots if you think about it. The basic of drone flying, right? The drone is flying over 3 different axes. And so when you combine all these together, there's like 15 to 20 shots that you can do. After that, it's a combination of all these shots where you add maybe climbing or moving the camera, whatever it is. But the basic shot themselves, there's not a ton of them. So learn these, and then it's going to help you get a lot better at this. Okay, if you are the RPIC and you have a VO to assist in maintaining vloss, does the RPIC need to maintain vloss as well? Was told the RPIC must maintain vloss at all time regardless of having a VO. Yes, 107.31 alpha says that the pilot in command must be able to see the aircraft at all time. I'm going to say this. You don't need to look at the drone. You need to be able to see the drone. Big difference. You don't need to look at the drone at all time. You need to, if you look up, be able to see the drone. But with that being said, the second part of 107.31 says that either the VO or the RPIC need to be looking at the drone throughout the entire flight. So here's an example. You have your VO and they're looking at the drone at all time. As soon as the VO says, hey, I got to, I can't look at the drone anymore, I got to do something else, you have to look at the drone, because either of you have to look at it. The first part says either the both the VO and the pilot in command have to be able to see the drone at all times, but one of the two needs to look at it at all times. I hope this clarifies it. One of the most misunderstood regulation, I think, in the drone world is 107.31. Will there be an issue with filming a public event such as a 5K with the DJI Mini? I'm not flying over people, but would be flying over buildings. Some people had problem with it last time. If you're not flying over people, there's no issue. It's a public event, so it means that people can be filmed in public. Nope, there shouldn't be any issues in here. Yeah, I mean, unless there is a TFR, but not for a 5K. No, don't fly over people. Don't fly over people in moving vehicles. Stay within visual line of sight. That's all I can say. In the West, I can drive up to a mountain to 1,000 feet. If I fly straight out level flight, would that be over 400 feet? 400 feet above ground level at all times. So just imagine wherever the drone is located, like right here. If this is 400 feet, as soon as I go over another obstacle here, I can go 400 feet over the ground, not obstacle, the ground, okay? AGL, above ground level. As soon as I go back this way, then I have to go back down. So if you're on top of a 1,000-foot mountain right here, and then it slopes down, then you would have to slope down along with the terrain and maintain 400 feet above ground level. Super 8mm 1, I recognize that name, been there before, is the Evo 2 Dual 640T with the lower price now, with the changeable payload, better than DJI having to buy specific drone for a specific task. If you get a good deal on the Evo 2 Dual 640T, buy it. It's a great drone. Jason in our office has one. Great platform, great camera. You're not going to get better imagery necessarily from the DJI drone. You might get different software, but it's a 640 pixel thermal sensor, and it's great. So if you can get a good deal on that, and like you said, you actually have the ability to change the payload yourself, so you could have two drones in one for a pretty cheap price. Do you think we will ever be able to have visual aid to extend line of sight? Maybe. And what I'm going to say now is my common sense. I don't have any tips on any regulation that might be coming out, but if the FAA were to come out with a BV loss rating, if you want, that you can add to your current existing certificate, my guess is that they would allow some kind of binoculars or a visual aid in order to maintain VLOS from your visual observer, for example. So we have that on one of our waiver where we have the ability to use those if we need to. And so, you know, it's a possibility, yes. I've been reading a lot of complaints about Autel. Is Autel still a good company from which to purchase a drone, or is that just competitors trying to make them look bad? I mean, Autel has they have their issues, just like every other company. They had a customer service issue for a long time. I think they're working on that. I haven't heard as many complaints as I used to about Autel. Keep in mind that they haven't really released any consumer drones in a long time. So depending on what you want to buy, if it's a consumer or enterprise, they're going to be more geared towards enterprise in the future, I think. So something to keep in mind. I think the Evo 2 was their best drone, still is. I think the two other drones that they tried to do were hit and miss. So yeah, I think it's still a great company, but just like other companies, they have their issues. Do you have a simple way to explain all four categories to newer drone pilots? Yes. Yes. The easiest way to explain is this. At the moment in the United States, there is one category of drone, Category 1. And Category 1 is only for drones that are sub 250 grams that have prop guards. And if you have one of those, with everything included on takeoff, it's less than 250 grams, then you can fly over people in moving vehicles. And people in moving vehicles with some restrictions. Category 2, 3, and 4, for all intents and purposes, don't exist in the US at the moment. There's one Category 3 drone that's approved, and that's it. And so when I talk to people, and it's not a drone that the general public is going to buy. It's a fixed-wing aircraft that most people are just going to stay away from. So, and it's Category 3. So there's no Category 2, one Category 3, Category 4 is, think about it for delivery, and it's even higher than the Category 3 drone that's currently approved. So for all intents and purposes, there is one category of drone in the US. It's Category 1. A few drones qualify for it, but there's not a whole lot out there. So that's the way I would explain it to people. DC, can a drone be flown over 400 feet in a disaster or dangerous situation such as a tornado, or trying to determine a safe direction of travel during a flood, wildlife? I mean, you can break any regulation in an emergency. But in a tornado, I don't know that I would take a drone out. That's a good way to lose the drone. But if you were trying to figure out if something is going on, yes, absolutely. Especially in a weather-related situation, there's less likely to be aircraft flying at low altitude. But try not to break the regulation. Okay, that's what I would say. If my original intent for a flight was recreational but was offered money at a later date, would I have to obtain 107? No, you can take footage for recreational purposes and then eventually sell it. The intent of the flight is what matters originally. And I know intent is very difficult to prove, but it is what it is. Somebody says, how long does it take to be added to the Facebook group? It should be done today. Talked to our customer service folks this morning. They were pretty swamped with it because we had hundreds of people requesting access after Black Friday. So we had a big jump over the weekend. We had, I think, over 200 people added to the group. So I would say be patient. If it's still not approved by tonight, email us at contact@pilotinstitute.com and we'll take a look. But I know our customer service folks were talking about it today and going in there. Could you take Part 107 online? No, you cannot take Part 107 online. We talked about that earlier. Yeah, you'll have to go in person. You can take the recurrent online, but you cannot take the initial online. Wow, whew, we get to the bottom of the questions. 18 minutes to go. Any other questions? What else do we have? Don't scare Penny.
What's the next drone we're going to review?
What's the next drone we're going to review?
What prediction do you have?
Oh, we have a brand new drone that we're going to review. Can we show it?
I wasn't even talking about that one.
You should show it.
All right.
It is brand new.
I think we're allowed to show it.
Where is it?
I don't know. Where is it?
Oh, it's up on the wall back there.
Okay.
Brand new.
Stand by. It's brand new. Out of the box. We just opened the box today. It's not an EXO drone. We don't review those. You'll see. You'll see. The suspense is killing me, Ben. The suspense is killing me.
I was more thinking like what
We can't talk about drones that we don't have.
we don't know what's going to be.
Well, but even if we have them, we can talk about them. This thing right here. Can anybody guess what this is?
Someone's got to be able to guess what that is.
It's going to take a second for the delay for them to catch up.
It's the new latest DJI drone. It's a Phantom 1.
Yep.
Yes.
Spencer got it.
So, yep. So we're gonna do an in-depth review of the Phantom 1 10 years later. This is a 10-year-old drone. It's brand new, out of the box. Seriously, we just got it. It's never flown. Well, we did fly it, but it had never flown before. So we're gonna be doing a serious review of this thing and an upgrade because we can. And that's all I'm gonna say. But it's pretty cool. It came with the original battery, and Don put it on a charger, and he said, I've never seen a battery so dead. The resistance on it was through the roof. Never seen a resistance like this. So we get new batteries for it. But back in the days, DJI wasn't using DJI intelligent batteries, so we can replace it with any battery, which is cool. That's the first drone I ever got. That is the first drone I ever got. So I'm excited. It actually flies, surprisingly, about as good as an EXO drone. Maybe even better. Yeah. Okay. Is it worth a long trip to Monument Valley to fly my drone 8 hours each way? Are there any location where I'm allowed to fly outside the park? You know what? I hate to say it, but I'm not familiar with that area, even though I live in Arizona. I've never been to Monument Valley. Take a look at the chart to see where the national park starts and ends. I heard it's beautiful, but as far as flying drone, I'm going to have to say, unfortunately, I'm not sure. Yeah, Olaf will definitely tell you that, and then the UAS facility map as well. I'm late to the stream. It's all right. But has anyone heard of issues with the Mavic 2 Zoom or remote ID firmware? Yes. So here's the story. They pushed an update, and then there was an issue, so they pulled the update. So if you installed it, I don't think it's working. I don't think there's been a fix yet, at least not that I have seen. So for the Mavic 2 series, unless I'm wrong, unless they have done an update since, that was last week when I was on vacation. That was Friday, a week and a half ago. So back then, they had an issue. We tested it on ours. It didn't work. But so we have to wait, I think, for them to release something new. Any recommendations for flying for a high school football game? Yes, I would make sure that you're actually allowed to do this as per the high school rules. I know they have pretty specific rules about what can be filmed and not filmed in those games, and I don't want you to get the team in trouble. So I would talk to the coach of those teams and make sure that it's okay for you to do that. And otherwise, I would say try to cone off an area where you would be flying, and so you don't have to fly over people, and just maybe have a VO that prevents people from getting into that area. But yeah, think about what you're trying to get also out of the flight. Make sure people are aware of you doing this before you do it. Make sure also that the school, you might more than likely are going to be taking off and landing on school property. So make sure that you have approval from them to do that because it's their private property. Under recreational flight, I need one remote ID for both my drones. Do I need one for each drone under Part 107? Yes, absolutely. One drone, one remote ID per drone under Part 107, one remote ID module for all drones under recreational. And I know it doesn't make sense, but that's the way it is because of registration. Okay, what else? What other apps do you recommend for your phone when flying commercially? Aloft Air Control is the biggest one I use. I use ForeFlight for my weather, but I'm also weird because I like reading the METARs and the TAFs. I know a lot of people don't like to do that. I'm looking at you, Vic. Vic and I had this discussion a lot. So a weather app, if I had my phone with you, I would tell you there's a... Oh, UAV Forecast? Yeah, UAV Forecast is a pretty good one for the weather. Other than that, I don't use a ton of apps on my phone for flying. Airspace, yeah, Ethan, you have another one?
Google Maps, so you can put a pin of where you can fly.
Yeah. Yeah, Google Maps, so you can put a pin of the stuff. Yeah, other than that, I have a ton of apps on my phone, but I never find myself needing more than the weather and the airspace. That's really what matters for me. We use a little checklist, but usually it's a paper checklist that we use for our drones. Other than that, that's it. If I schedule my Part 107 exam in Arizona, will someone from Pilot Institute hold my hand to go into the facility? Those FAA people are scary.
I will if Crumble's provided.
Oh, Ben says if Crumble, and that Crumble is cookies. So if Crumble cookies are provided, Ben will do it. Be careful, Ben. Arizona is a pretty big state.
Oh yeah.
He's saying Prescott. I mean, heck, if you're doing Crumble cookies, I'll hold the other hand because I don't trust Ben bringing cookies back to the office. But yeah, yep. Have you guys heard anything about Autel getting put on the same blacklist as DJI? I'm pretty sure they already are. I'm pretty sure they already are on the blacklist. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Crap.
We just did a story on news update.
Yeah, we did. Jason last week. Yeah. Are you playing the audio? Oh, okay, that's fine. You don't have to
or
play the audio.
investigation
Yeah,
into
go look
Autel.
at news update. We just talked about this. It's not a they're not on the blacklist yet, I think, but they were talking about putting them in there. But there was wow, crap. I'm gonna have to go and research that because I'm pretty sure they were added to some lists from the fact that they're from China, and it wasn't just DJI. So, boop. Okay, next. How serious are the rules of municipality, local cities? For example, the New Jersey Shore. I mean, they're pretty serious, meaning that if there's a rule that you can't fly there and you fly, you could get ticketed. Now, I don't think they're going to throw you in jail, but you can definitely get a fine for flying your drone there, possibly get your drone confiscated. So I would say if they have a rule, just don't fly there. I know sometimes it sucks, but it is what it is. Any updates on the Texas Code 423? Nope, no update that we have seen. I'm sure it's going to be a while because they're appealing. And so the appeal is going to take, I'm sure, a while. I have an older Phantom 3 Advanced. What's the easiest way to make the drone FAA compliant as far as remote ID? Module. Get the cheapest module you can buy. Excuse me. See, that's what happens. I go on vacation, I come back, I'm tired. Get the cheapest module you can buy and then put that on your drone, and that's going to make it compliant. And then make sure you add it to your registration on the FAA Drone Zone. Somebody says, I love the course. You make it very easy to learn. Awesome. Thank you for the feedback. I love that. Love helping people learn complex topics, and there's quite a few of them in there. So yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Woo. I see a bunch of Santas in the chat. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. It's too early for Merry Christmas. Are we going to do garlands on the back for next week? Are we going to Christmasize the set? Oh, Ben is all about crumble, so it depends if crumble is provided. Okay, I'll send people our address so they can send us crumble. Jason, put the address in the chat. No, just kidding. I think last time Ken did that, he was asking for beer, or people were sending him beer, and he ended up with cases of beer, not knowing what to do with them. Okay. Well, do you still accept Ken's discount on your course? Of course. Yeah, Ken is absolutely. Yep. Go click on his link. Okay. All right. Well, we're getting pretty crumble open in Denver. Heck yeah, Vic. Go get some. That's don't get a whole cookie though. The whole cookie is, how many calories did we say? 700? 600 to 700 calories. A cookie is technically, a crumble cookie is supposed to be 4. And by the way, I'm not getting paid by Crumble, and we should be. Should talk about them, but it's supposed to be 4 cookies in one. But unfortunately, quite often it ends up being 1 cookie for Greg, and then and Ben looks at me weird after that. Very judgy. How was your vacation? My vacation was pretty good. It was a staycation. I stayed at home and then did some home projects, stayed with the kids, had some fun. I got a birthday from birthdays, 2 of my kids, 1 week apart. So that was fun. And then what else? Oh, I can visit the office way more than these guys wanted. 4 out of 5 days I was in the office. Granted, it was to get tools from the back, but they thought they were going to get rid of me for a whole week, and it didn't happen. But yeah, no, thank you for asking. It was a good vacation. I ended up working more than I usually do here, but that was at least working at home. Looking forward to the next one next year. Okay. Any other question? 5 minutes to go. Somebody says, I feel like I've been living under a rock. First the drone fishing, now this cookie place. What is crumble? It's crumble with no E at the end. Look it up. They have stores all over the place in the US. So there's a chance that there's actually one near you. They're really good. And usually when you buy them at the store, they're still warm. And we get them. My business partner, Johan, he comes from the Valley. and from the Phoenix area. And so every time he comes up, he stops by Crumble and gets cookies. So we get a lot of cookies.
Like when you came back to the
Oh yeah, that was. Yeah, we had fun today. Well, you'll have to wait to see that video. When are we putting that video out? Oh, we got to finish filming it. Yeah. We got some funny footage. Somebody, what the hell was that? Somebody says they're eating Crumble right now. What? Well, good for you, Paul. That's freaking awesome because Crumble is awesome. Black Forest cake. Now see, we just looked, but see, I'm a cookie snob. Is that what you would call it? Purist? What would you? Basic. Yeah, I'm gonna say purist. I think that's better. I'm a chocolate chip guy. They're just like a warm chocolate chip cookie with the chips that are still like melting on top, and the inside of the cookie is like moist and still warm. You can't go wrong with that. I can't show my wife this. We'll be there every day. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. Yeah. Totally not sponsored. Definitely not sponsored. Man, I wish we were. That's what we need to do. Because we talked about sponsorship in the office. And we were like, well, should we start to open up to sponsorship? Because we have a lot of people reaching out for sponsorship. And I always refuse to do it. But,
seems like a wholesome company.
I think Crumble I could give in. I want if we ever get sponsor like Linus and all these guys, I would do non-drone related sponsors. So I think Crumble would work. What else could we do? I think Crumble is Dos Equis. No, definitely not. If we do a beer company, it's not going to be Dos Equis. No Crumble in California? What? Is that real? Being sponsored by Crumble would be hilarious. Dude, we need to send this clip to them, to Crumble headquarters, and see.
Post your own social media videos and tag them in it.
Really? Let's do that. I think we should.
Watch for our Crumble short next week.
Yep. Never heard of it. See, look, all these people that never heard of Crumble, and now they do.
What sort of agencies?
We should get sponsored by Crumble, 100%. How many people at Pilot Institute now? Full-time, 14 people now. And in the office, how many do we even have in the office?
2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with 8.
9 and 10. Yeah, 10 with medicine. Yeah, we have 10 people in the office, and we have, well, actually, we have more than that. We have 15 people now at Pilot Institute. I lose track because we have people out of the office, but 10 people in the office, 5 people outside. And I think 13 of those are full-timers now. So, yep, we're growing. There is Crumble in California, all over the place, according to Google Apple Maps. Apple Maps doesn't want you to know about Crumble. All right. Well, we had a good fun with Crumble. What this is telling me is that we can bring awareness of Crumble and be a great ambassador. So I think we should reach out to Crumble. Thank you, Vic. Appreciate that. We also have. Well, I don't want to say it just yet. I won't. Hopefully we'll have some good news later this month. Tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Is dropping a Crumble cookie from a drone a Part 107 violation? If it's into my mouth, it is not. Oh, dunking Crumble into milk and send that to Crumble to get sponsorship. I like that. Okay. We're on to something, folks. I think this Crumble thing is going to be yep. I think this Crumble thing is going to be real. Watch me wear a Crumble t-shirt next week. Or having crumbs on the side right here. All right. Can law enforcement confiscate a quad for their own reasons? That's outside my area of expertise, Todd.
If it was you
Yeah, if it was used in a crime, I would think they can, but I don't know how local. I don't know. Quite frankly, I don't want to say yes or no because I don't know for sure. So Penny says it's the end of. Yeah, I'll get the rest of the questions. Okay. Should anyone try to fly a drone while high? Definitely not. Absolutely not. Terrible idea. Please do not do that. Do not operate a drone while high. Terrible idea. Are you going to do a drone giveaway to your subscribers for Christmas? Interesting. We could do that. Yeah, quite frankly, I'd rather do a class giveaway. The thing is, I know a lot of channels try to do drone giveaways to get their subscriber count up. I'm not interested in doing that because I don't want people to listen to us because we give drones away one time and then never come back because all they wanted to do was get into the drone giveaway. It's not a good. It's not the right follower that I want. I want people to follow us because we provide good information. So I don't want to do drone giveaways for that reason. But the people that watch in the live, and yeah, we could. I'm going to see if we can maybe do a giveaway with the people watching in the live, and then do that. But can also do course giveaways and a bunch of them. People usually like the courses better. Do you know if anyone manufactures a good waterproof drone for offshore use? So, waterproof. Some of the higher end DJI drones are IP rated, which means that you can fly them in inclement weather. So I don't know what your requirement is for waterproof. Waterproof can mean a lot of different things. If it's flying in the rain or in the element, yes, there are drones like the Max is IP from Autel, the Autel Max, and then the Matrice series, the Matrice 30. I know for sure. I don't remember about the 300, but I think the 300 might be also somewhat waterproof. So, yeah, I would say.
There's also like a fishing drone.
There's a fishing drone, but I don't remember what it's called, and I don't know if they still manufacture it.
It is old.
Yeah, it's pretty old. Splash drone. Splash drone? Is that what it is? I think it might be Splash drone. Somebody said in the comments. So, yeah. All right, folks. Somebody says the Q&A is available for viewing later. Yes, as soon as we hang up here, it's going to be posted as a video. Just go to the live section and you'll be able to see all the stuff and leave your comments if you have any more questions. We answer those. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. We will be back next week on Monday at the same time, 4 p.m. Mountain Time. And I think the next one might be on Christmas or around Christmas. So I think we have only one more before Christmas. So we'll see what kind of giveaway we can do for next week. I think that's a great idea. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. We will see you next week, hopefully with good news on top of the drone giveaway. Bye.